All right, welcome everybody. Today is Monday, March 22nd. My name is Laura Teal, and I am very excited to introduce to you Miss Kristen Coy from Indiana. She's an executive director with Pampered Chef and one of my Pampered Chef sisters. Had the pleasure of traveling with her and her hubby, and my husband knows her husband, and we're going to see each other again in Disney soon. So excited for that. But that's one of the joys of Pampered Chef is the sister and brotherhood that you gain along the way for sure. But I was part of a retreat virtually a couple weeks ago, and Kristen did a really great talk about 15-minute incremental time. And I asked her to share that with all of us today. So Kristen, take it away. She shares some of her story in it too. So I didn't feel like I had to go too much into your whole background because I listened to your talk again today. So.
Well, awesome. So each time I share this, it switches up just a little bit, but the main thing comes out. So I'm Kristen, executive director. And I always start off with a little bit of my background. So 4.5 years ago, I was introduced to the virtual parties. Am I echoing? I feel like I have an echo.
I'm muting some people. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
Okay, just making sure. All right. So I was introduced to the virtual parties 4.5 years ago. So with that, I started off with 4 hosts to test the virtual concept with me. And I was hooked right away. At the time, I had barely turned in $3,000 in total sales that year. I had actually gone from advanced director all the way down to consultant. And, life was just happening. And I had moved across states, had some health issues. And so the virtual party way was intriguing to me. In the next 4 months, from September to December, I soared. I took it by storm and went with it by being consistent every single day. In those 4 months, I did 41,000 in personal sales, recruited 7 new consultants, and re-promoted to director, and earned a trip that year in 4 months. Some of us are thinking 4 months, oh my gosh, how do we do that? You guys, it's already March 22nd, and I have 4 on my team who've already earned a trip this year. One of them is a level 2 trip. It can be done if that's something of interest to you. So fast forward here 4 years later, in 2020, the Coy organization reached 3.4 million in sales. We added 550 new consultants last year, and more people earned more incentives, more monthly incentives, and more trips than ever before with 4 simple steps. I know you're getting excited, right? You probably want to hear what these are, right? Shake your head if you're ready, like give me a whoop whoop, right? So how many of you find yourself with some time management issues, right? Let's be honest, time management, right? Or maybe just in general, consistency, just being consistent in your business. So if I can show you a way to help streamline those impossible days, those days that, don't go as planned. How many of you wake up and you think your day is planned out and then whoop, something else happens, right? If I can show you a way to do at least a little bit of something, just touch your business just a little bit, would you want to know? Of course, right? So consistency is key. Our personal business is the foundation always. No matter if you have a team or not, your personal business is always the most important. Without our personal calendar, without personal relationships with our host, and let me ask you this, is your ask bigger than your butt? How many of you heard that before? Then your hills will be small instead of large mountains that will be harder to climb and take longer to achieve. So these 4 tasks break up to 15 minutes each, or what we like to say is a power hour. Sometimes in a day, we don't have a full hour to sit down. So you can totally break this up into 15 minutes here, there, whenever you can fit in. Sometimes you might have to do what I call the toilet technique, where you run in, you sit on the toilet, you knock out as many messages. Yeah, look at y'all. You're like, yep, been there, done that, right? How many of you have hid in the closet or hid in the bathroom from your kids, right? Sometimes you just got to do it for 15 minutes. Maybe hide out in the minivan while you're knocking out a couple messages so the toddlers don't run. Yeah, see, I'm a mama. I get it. I get it. So these 4 15-minute tasks all make up 1 hour, or you can totally break them up how you want. And you're going to find that when you do this consistent, no matter what, and make these 4 tasks non-negotiable in your business every single day, your business is going to go to a whole new level. All right. So in 2020, many of us found that we were working from home. Maybe our spouses were home. Maybe our children were home. Some were e-learning, some were not. Some were like in and out, in and out. Who knew from day to day what was happening, right? And some of us are still experiencing this. So this is how we develop these 4 tasks. Number 1, 15 minutes on bookings every single day. Now notice I didn't say you need to send out 30 messages. You need to send out 50 messages. You need to create this huge list and just do, right? 15 minutes, 5 days a week is going to be consistent. You're going to find your calendar is going to be amazing.
For 15 minutes?
Customers,
That's my problem. I don't know how to do that. I don't like I feel like I'm intruding in people's lives.
when you're sending messages, Oh.
Wait, can I interject on that one?
okay.
Oh,
Okay, so when I had my party, I added, like, I did the host tips and I did like invited people that I hadn't talked to in a while. And I'm like, okay, I get invited to stuff too. I never get mad at the people inviting me. I just either go or don't go. So I did do that reach out of my comfort zone. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm inviting them anyways. And I was surprised actually at the people that came, and I had a very successful party. So that has made me realize that it's okay to step outside and you're not necessarily bugging people unless you're sending them 5 messages. Like you're just, hey, here's the thing. Look, you want to do it? And if they say no, like they say, don't take it personally. That's
Right.
just what I took from it.
Okay, thanks for sharing. All right, so let me get back to the 15 minutes. So let me show you how absolutely, they can choose whether they want to join, not join, and sending those repeated messages is absolutely key for the follow-up. So what I'm saying is in this 15-minute task, these are going to be customers from your current parties. How many of you send messages to every single person that places an order? And then how many of you send messages to every single person who's joined the party? Do you send a video and say, hey, welcome to the party. My name's Kristen. I'm here to help you. Hey, here is the party link below. If you have any questions, let me know. And you know what? If this isn't the week for you to place an order, I'd still love to spoil you as a host, book your party and surprise your host with a booking. That is one of the things that you can do in this 15 minutes of bookings. So customers from your parties, maybe every guest in your party, those who have not ordered, follow up with every single one of them. This 15 minutes is also where you do your 2-2-2, your customer care. If you're not doing 2 days after a party, 2 weeks after a party, and 2 months after a party, make sure that you start learning that area. Follow-up post. Some of you might be posting on social media, like, do you like the edge of a brownie or the center of a brownie? All right. And so when you do posts like that, follow up with them. Oh my gosh, I'd love to get you a brownie pan. When you host in March or April, I will gift you a brownie pan of your choice. When they hold and submit their party, you gift them a brownie pan. That is a booking message. Every single day, you should be spending 15 minutes on booking messages. You should have enough in your bag between your current parties, your past parties, your past hosts, and your social media posts to keep you busy, to where you don't have to green dot on a consistent basis. All right. So this is where you personally text. That is the best way to get those bookings. You can email. I like to send out an email every single month about the next 2 months of dates available, and I give 2 to 3 dates. You can instant message. If some of you are using Amy or Project Broadcast, you could totally use that. This is not the time that when they reply back, you get into a conversation with them. This is strictly 15 minutes of sending messages, sending messages, sending messages. All right. So I want to make sure that you guys are clear on that. You'll reply and do all that later when you have time. All right. So when that 15 minutes goes off, then it's time to go to the next 15 minutes. All right. So 15 minutes. So your next 15 minutes is going to be all about host coaching. Host coaching. Host coaching. Host coaching starts with pre-party, sometimes several weeks out, several days out, during the party, closing of the party. This is where you're prodding your host and getting them, wahoo, you're one more order away from blah, blah, blah. Or you're X amount away from blah, blah, blah. I'm so excited when you get one more booking, you're going to get blah, blah, blah. Host coaching, 15 minutes. How many of us go through most of the day and we're like, oh my gosh, it's 6 o'clock at night and I haven't done host coaching yet. Or maybe 3 o'clock. So when you set this 15 minutes, let me tell you, bookings are your business. Host coaching is where you make your paycheck. Host coaching, when you partner with your host and you do your host coaching, you're going to have a better and more successful party. And so I want you to put your goggles on. I want you to be laser focused. Do you have a pair of goggles? You should keep a pair of goggles on your desk. If you want to be successful in life, you need to have your goggles on. You want to be the Michael Phelps in your business. You need to keep those goggles on and start swimming and be laser focused. So that 15 minutes of host coaching, and when that 15 minutes up, guys, it goes like this, boom, 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 and your hosts are going to partner with you and they're going to go in and they're going to do things. Then it's 15 minutes of recruiting. Take a breath. Take a deep breath. I see some of you, you're like, wait a second, this is a whole new ball game for me, and this is okay. 15 minutes of recruiting, and this is not where you're going to send a ton of messages. This is where you're going to start talking to your host 3 to 5 times about why they should join the Pampered Chef. You're going to talk to your superstar guest. Maybe you have a recruiting logbook where you go back and you check back. I know that I have people who will say, hey, check back with me with the next special, or hey, check back with me when the next thing is awesome. Or hey, check back with me in a couple months when my kids are graduated, or blah, blah, blah. Goal here is to have 15 chats per month. So when you are building relationships in this 15 minutes, the goal is to have 20 conversations in a month. That's not about having hundreds of messages, guys. Sometimes I think that we get so wrapped up in hearing that we have to do all these crazy amount of messages and these crazy amount of conversations, and these crazy amount of things. And when you get back to the basics of 15 minutes each, you're going to see your business explode and grow and more income in your pocket than ever before. So when that timer goes off, whether you have a tomato timer or an Apple timer, or you use your phone, whatever timer you have, 15 minutes, when it goes off, you're done. You don't continue. You go on to the next task. All right. So I want you to close your eyes at the moment. Okay, close your eyes. I see some of you, you're not closing your eyes. I want you to think back to when you started your Pampered Chef business. Some of you, that's a little while ago. Others of you, it might have been really recent. What did your life look like before your Pampered Chef business? Now I want you to think about all the things that you have earned. Have you earned some incredible products? Or are you earning some incredible products? Have you earned amazingly fun incentives? Have you earned income that's allowed you to do something? What have you been able to pay for? Maybe something unexpected, maybe something fun. Medical, car, college, vacation, amazing Christmas. What would you have missed out on if someone had not invited you to the Pampered Chef? What would you have not been able to not earn or learn? So I want you to take, okay, you can open your eyes. I want you to take this 15 minutes of recruiting very serious. You wouldn't want to take this opportunity away from anyone, just like somebody didn't take that opportunity away from you. You don't get to decide for them, you let them decide. Offer our greatest gift to everyone. 15 minutes is going to make an impactful bit on your business. All right, so the last 15-minute task, the last 15-minute timer that you're going to hear all day long.
Very
Important new consultants. And it's important new consultants. This is when you get to cheer them on, when you get to challenge them, give them a shout out, give them a wahoo, you're almost there. Post something, send them a congratulations, challenge them to the next level, challenge them to $100 in orders today or new booking or whatever. This is your time to partner with them. And if you don't currently have new consultants on your team, that's okay. Then I want you to take this 15 minutes and become a student. You'll hear people like Love Carpenter, Jennifer Henderson, and several others tell you that when they became a student of their business, maybe that might be in host coaching or booking or customer care, that when they became a student of their business, they were able to implement the missing parts to their business. Maybe you need to check out Dash. Maybe you need to check out your team pages for videos and trainings. Where do you need to tweak just a little bit to make a difference in your business? And let me tell you, it's kind of like Netflix. You're in the middle of this really good training and you're writing notes and you're writing notes and you're writing notes. And then all of a sudden the timer goes off and you're like, no, but you got to wait till tomorrow. You got to wait till tomorrow. That's the rule. I mean, I can't force it, but that's the rule. How many of you have Netflix binged or Hulu binged and been in the middle of a series and then you have to wait? You have to wait for the next one. You're like, what? It's the same thing. It's so fun. So 4 15-minute tasks. I'm going to go over them one more time. Makes one big power hour. You can do it all together. Some people like to do it in the very beginning of the morning, knock it all out. Sometimes that's the best time. You're the most energized. You're the most, I'm not a morning person, but you are the most energized in the morning. And so power hour, 4 15-minute tasks. Number 1, 15 minutes of booking. Number 2, 15 minutes of host coaching. Number 3, 15 minutes of recruiting. And number 4, 15 minutes of your very important new consultants or becoming a student in Train. All right, so that's it. I think that I covered everything. I know I kind of went a little fast a little bit, and I know we had some feedback a couple of times. So any questions real quick?
Okay, yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
So with the when you're talking about like the bookings, when you send people a message, do you send them the message like for the next 2 months, like, okay, these are the host specials, or do you just say these are the new products we have coming out? Like, what's your angle with that?
No, so when I send a customer email, I simply say, I'm really excited. My dates are really full. I have, and I usually say like April 5th and April 12th and May, and I give the 2 dates. And I say, these are my last 2 dates in both months. Grab one before they're gone. And so I don't really say anything about the specials. I don't book based on specials. I know some people do. I know they book based on like, oh, it's stoneware, oh, it's cookware, oh,
Yeah.
I just book for the party and the fun. Occasionally somebody will say, hey, when's cookware available? Or hey, when's whatever available? But for the most part, I just book based on just having a party.
Okay.
Kristen, I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but with my virtual parties, I've had a hard time getting bookings. So
Okay.
I'm kind of like dry right now. So what is a good suggestion on how to get restarted to get bookings?
So two things. One, I do a graphic. I know in virtual party, virtual graphics page, if you're a part of that group, they have really nice graphics, but you can make your own where it has like 3 things. You can do like the spoons. Pampered Chef has the spoons. Last month I used hearts. This month I used shamrocks. You can totally use whatever you want. But I use hey, when your host gets 3, she's going to get the $50 bonus. And then I fill it in as she gets them. So in April, I have Easter eggs, and in May, I have flowers to fill in. So you could do that. That's one way. And then again, I message out every single person, and I usually say something like this. Hey, Sarah, I'm really excited. Thank you for placing your order in Laura's party. Hey, Sarah is Laura's 2 parties away from earning the special. Would you like to surprise her and be one of her 2 that she needs? And so when you do something like that, people are like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. And you usually get some really good bookings that way. So just kind of switch up your language to, would you like to surprise your host with a booking? So that's kind of the general one. The second one is, and I'm hoping that it's probably been shared, and Laura and Christy, forgive me if it hasn't, but we call it the Ann Miller. If Ann's on here, congratulations, we love you. But we call it the Ann Miller method. And if you have not seen that method, Laura and Christy, please share that because it is going so amazing. And so this is what we call it. Basically, in your virtual parties, instead of doing a one final winner, everybody wins. But you don't announce it in the party. You tell them, hey, check your messages to see if you were a winner. And what you do in your messages is you say something as simple as, hey, Laura, I'm really excited. Thanks for joining in. You were the winner of, and you give a category. Maybe it's early bird, maybe it's super rock star, maybe it was most points earned, maybe it was whatever category you want to give it. They become the winner. And then you say, I'm going to give you this e-cookbook. But if you want to upgrade it to a brownie pan of your choice, when you host a party in March or April, I will gift that to you. And you guys, they are going crazy with that. So some of my consultants are doing brownie pans. Some of them are doing the donut pans now that we have 2 choices for that. So Laura and Christy, share that if I just let that one out. So that's amazing. It works really, really well. Okay.
So I have a question because I actually did that like a bunch and I got 0, like a hit for like several parties. It was like, sorry, I'm already having a party, or I already have a consultant, or no, I'm not interested, or I have a similar pan. And so when you do offer that to someone who actually says yes, because I haven't gotten a yes from that, do you qualify that it's for a qualifying party, or do you?
Yep, it has to be a qualified party.
Okay.
And so the brownie pan was a lingo issue. And so some people were saying like, I already have a brownie pan. So a lot of my consultants switched it to a brownie pan or donut pan of your choice.
Okay.
Meaning there's 2 brownie pans and there's 2 donut pans. You can choose whichever of the 4 that you want. And so that gives them, like, more than likely, the majority of our customers don't have all 4 of them. We as consultants do, but not all of our customers do. So if you switch it to a little bit of that language, then you can. The other thing is that you can always say something like a $25 item of your choice or something like that. But if you put a product name to it, then they seem to be a little more excited about it.
Thank you.
Kristen, let me jump into, so I tell them that they can upgrade to a seasoning of their choice. And because that's a more of affordable range, especially for newer consultants. And I've really, because there's so many seasonings to choose from, especially with the new product line, I've really gotten a good response to seasoning as well too. So just so you guys know, you don't have to do a brownie pan. You can do whatever price. You want to just make it exciting and worth the upgrade for them to host a party.
Right.
I do seasonings also, and that also gives me an opportunity to reach back out to them. And I've had repeat customers because of the seasonings.
Yes.
But Kristen, I have a question. Okay, so so you're sending out, let's just say bookings. So do you just send out for 15 minutes? So if they reply, are you stopping in the 15 minutes to reply and current? So you're just sending out for 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then you're sending out the recruits for 15 minutes, and then you spend time the rest of the day replying or conversing with them.
Yeah, so then I can do that on my own time. I can send the rest of the messages later, but I'm consistent and I'm making sure that I'm doing what I absolutely have to do in order to build the bookings, build the relationships, build the recruiting conversations, things like that. And then I can have a conversation when there's nap time or when I have a moment to breathe in my day, but at least I'm touching it. And sometimes I may not reply back for about 24 hours, and that's okay. You don't want to be super eager all the time, because then you may look a little too, what's my word? Not eager, what's my word?
Desperate.
Desperate, yes. I was thinking panicky, but desperate. And so if you make you look busy, and you make you look like, oh my gosh, I want to be on her calendar, I want to be a part of her, like, then they're great in communication with you. So I wouldn't go 24 hours unless like your life is really chaotic at that day, which can happen. I get that, but send strictly for the 15 minutes in that. Now, let me pause just a second on the recruiting. The recruiting isn't sending out, hey, there's a 39 kit, want to join my team? Hey, there's 39 kit, want to join my team? It's not that concept. The recruiting message is simply to your host, oh my gosh, look at your team or look at your show. You've got 3 bookings and you're already at $600 in sales. Your friends and family love Pampered Chef. What do you think? Would you like to use $50 towards a kit of your choice? That's a message that you would send. Or you would follow up with somebody, hey, we have a great special happening this time of the year. I know you said a check back, $39 to get started. You can get the quick cooker and the grill. I think it's your time. What do you say? So it's something a little more in depth than just knocking out messages. And so in the recruiting one, you could maybe reply back a little bit more. And not, this is not where you're going to send out 30 messages in 15 minutes. Does that make sense? The recruiting aspect is where you're going to really build the relationships. The booking part, you're going to knock out really fast.
I have a quick question. My big issue is probably the organization. After I can get it out, but then I get like lost in translation. Like, where did I send this? Where was this? How was this? Do you have any tips for all of that? Or are you saying, the 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months? Like, do you have a process that you do?
So I do. I use Project Broadcast. I don't know if you guys are well aware of that. I know it's kind of a newer thing that's happening. Project Broadcast automatically sends text messages out for me. That's kind of where I am in my business. If you are personally sending messages, I would just make a note in your calendar. I don't have my calendar here. I simply write in there, today did emails, today did text, today did instant messages, so that I know when I go back. And that's one thing that you have to remember. Let's say you send out messages today on Monday. Some of these people aren't going to reply back right away. And so on Wednesday, your 48-hour mark is when you're going back to those people and you're saying, hey, I know life is crazy. I just wanted to re-follow up with you. What do you say? Can I get you on the calendar? So some of your messages are going to be checking back with somebody who has not. So when I say 15 minutes, it's not always going to be brand new every single day. Some of it is going to be following back up. So in your organization, make sure that you're writing so that on Wednesday, you can go back and go, okay, on Monday, I sent out through text messages. Let me go through and send those messages. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. I was
Feel
thinking of like a process, like, you know, like you said, once you've gotten that contact, then you moved them to that folder, like your contacted folder, you know what I mean? Like to keep the process going. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I think, you know, just pick which system you want. Do you want to send via emails for your 222? Do you want to send text messages for your 222? Or do you want to send personal instant messages for your 222? I think that's what you need to figure out, is which of the three you want to do, and then be consistent with it. Hopefully that helps. I would do one.
Any other quick questions? We've got some more time. I actually went through Kristen's training from a couple weeks ago and made a little PowerPoint so we can kind of go through and touch on Christy and I are trying to figure out how to share it here. We're texting back and forth. So thank you so much, Kristen, for sharing with us tonight. Such great words of wisdom. And I know you said you changed some things up, but it's always so good to hear fresh ideas and things that I picked up tonight that I didn't pick up. I know you said it, but it's like, okay, hear it different, right? Like, everybody wins. You did it a little bit different than how I learned it. So that's fun to hear it your way too. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you have anybody on your team here too. You're all more than welcome to stay on with us.
All right. Well, have a wonderful rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Kristen, so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you in a few weeks.
Yay! Go Disney!
Hey, when you come down here, let me know. I only live 30 minutes from Disney.
Awesome.
There we go. Yes.
Bye,
All right.
guys.
Hopefully you can figure out how to share it.
I got you.
Yeah, we will.
Thanks,
All
Kristen.
right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Kristen.
Oh, that's not what I want.
All right. So
We're good
isn't
now,
she,
Laura.
there we go. We got it. Isn't she inspiring?
Yes.
She is just, yeah, she's just, and she's a knockout for sure. So let me just move some things here. There we go. Okay, so she is, yeah, she's a dynamo. So obviously we all heard her already, but I wanted to, if you want to screenshot anything, if you didn't take great notes, that's okay, because we've got it all here. So like Kristen said, she's very clear about it. It's non-negotiable tasks, right? Set a timer. And that's really so important. And like she said, you can do it any time of day that works for you. But if you want to take a screenshot, here's a little bit about what she shared in the last call, pretty similar. It's important to be consistent, right? That's how you're going to have a really great business, okay? One of the most important things is that host coaching. If you've got a party running, I can't tell you how many times I see on Facebook people going, oh my God, I didn't host coach today. And it's like 9 o'clock at night. Well, your host thinks that you forgot about her, right? So you need to make sure you're consistently host coaching every single day, and set a timer on your phone. I literally, when COVID hit a year ago, my husband and I started walking every morning because the gyms were closing and I knew I needed to get out of the house with us both being working from home. We started walking every morning. We'd get home from walking, he'd go shower, I'd go to my computer and host coach. But my host knew every day by 7 a.m. their message would be there. It didn't mean that they had to do it at 7 a.m. It meant it was there ready for them when they needed it. So it's really important, that consistency. Okay, but I did take some notes, and what did you love about what she said tonight? Anybody want to share? These are some of the notes that I took, or like the Frank's list. If you're looking for bookings, revisit your Frank's list. Remember what the Frank's list is? It's your friends, it's your relatives, it's acquaintances, your neighbors, your kids, friends, parents, S is your significant other or spouses, people that they know, okay? That's something that we always use when somebody is new to the business, but it's also something that you can revisit because you do meet people through life and your Frank's list changes. So anybody want to share anything that they're excited about working with the booking 15 minutes?
What I personally really liked was that she says, don't reply back. Cause I think that's my problem. Like I get it and I start working with them and then my 15 minutes or my power hour is gone and it wasn't very productive. It was just a few people. So I like that she gave me permission to be like, oh, whatever, just do what I have to do and then get back to it in my own time. So once I get, my system implemented and a tracking source of it where I don't get, somebody messaged me, but where was it? Because it becomes a lot because I'll bust them out. Like I'll be like, boop, 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 but I always start to reply and then it's not as productive. So I really like that, to hear it again.
Right. And the system that you use for something like that, Cindy, it can be a plain notebook, but you need to make sure you write down everybody that you reach out to so you can follow up, right? Because if you don't follow up, you might lose them. So a notebook, an Excel spreadsheet, it doesn't matter what it is as long as you use it consistently, right? Years ago, I had a live cooking show. A lady asked me to reach out for a booking and I left her a message and she never got back to me. I would call every 6 to 8 weeks and leave her a message. She never got back to me. It took her a year to book her party. And when I walked in her house, her husband said, "You're the one that's been leaving a message every couple months for me," but for her. But she knew she wanted to have a party. It was just never the right time. So she didn't say no. So I kept reaching back out. Okay. It wasn't being pushy. I knew she wanted a party. She never said no. And I kept her on my list. Had I not had a tracker, I never would have kept calling her. Okay. But she appreciated my follow-up. Okay. So don't be afraid to keep following up. Okay.
I'm definitely proof of not following up and somebody out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, I asked you a couple times, but I just never continually followed up and they either joined with somebody else or they had another party. And I was excited and happy because any PC in their home is fantastic, but it does hurt, it hurts on your heartstrings. I'm like, but it was no one's fault but mine. So, if I would have followed up and continued,
So when I started the business 9 years ago, I don't remember what book it was. I'll have to figure it out. But it was about sales and how to be successful in sales without being pushy, without being that person who really drives everyone crazy. And one of the quotes that stuck out to me and still reminds me to this day is that most people in sales give up after the second or third ask. But the real success in sales comes after the seventh ask. It could take a year, it could take 2 years, but guys, keep asking because the money, the recruit leads, the business that you want is going to be after the second or third ask. Don't throw in the towel after a few times of asking.
Right.
And if you're keeping track of it in a book, then you can make a little tally mark. I've sent them 3 messages, I'm getting closer to my 7, and you can keep track of that.
Right. And I think, when I love how many, you need to know your numbers, right? Because this is such a numbers business. If I ask 10 people, I'm probably going to get 3 that respond back to me and 1 that's going to book a party. That's my number. Okay. So your number might be a little bit different, but if you're tracking, you're able to see. So if you know what, I need to book 4 more parties. My number is I need to reach out to about 40 people. Okay. And it might be more 1 month and less 1 month, but you need to know your numbers. So if you're writing down and tracking, you're going to be able to take care of that for yourself. Okay. So the next thing that she talked about was host coaching, right? The moment the party is booked, make sure you're consistent. I know in the previous training, she talked about the number of orders. Her goal is 12 orders on a party. And that she never just said, let's have an $800 party. She would go, let's go for 12 orders. Okay. And one thing I have found is that when I can get my host in a virtual Facebook party to have 40 to 50 people who click join, it's $1,000 party. So that's always my goal, is the number of people. Because I know if I have 12, I'm probably going to get 3 or 4 orders, right? It's kind of like a home party. If you've got 4 people in the room, people feel pressured to buy. If I've got 15 people in the room, everybody's having a great time and there's no pressure. Okay, so the same thing with a lot of people in a virtual party. It's way more fun too, right? More people commenting. Okay, anybody have anything from this section here that you wrote down in your notes that really stuck out to you that you want to implement in your business? We're looking for more to share.
I just feel like I want to get better at host coaching.
Okay.
So hopefully, before we used to have it on Evernote, so it was a little bit easier for me to like figure out. And a lot of times I have a primary job, and this is my second job.
Okay.
So I need things to be like super easy and accessible to me, because usually I'm like limited on time. Like right now, I'm listening and I'm riding my bike because I'm trying to get some exercise in. So I'm always multitasking.
Right.
So I went back to my party that I was a host in, and I went back to all the coaching tips that Danielle had given me. And I have been using those because I'm not very computer literate. So it's kind of hard. And I want something that I can just copy and paste.
Sure.
Because
sure.
I'm just,
Danielle probably has a document that she can share with you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I recommend, go to your director, go to your team. I'm guessing we all have some type of document that we will share with our team. And
right.
Take that, save it as your own. I always date mine. I would say, March 2021, and then host coaching. Make it your own.
And Danielle is really good about giving us tips and everything. She's really amazing at that.
Yeah.
It's just, you give these host coaching tips, and some of them use them and some of them don't.
Right.
And then the ones that don't are like, well, I need sales. I'm like, well, I've already been telling you it's personal contact. You need to personally be talking to your guests because you know them. So they want to hear from you. It's more personable when you talk to them and you say, hey, here's my link, blah, blah, blah. I'm starting to pick up on a lot of stuff. This is like almost my first year, the end of my first year. It'll be in June.
Okay.
So it's something. I was gone for a while. And then I came back.
Okay. Something that I've been saying to my hosts for virtual parties is, please make sure, like before the party even starts, as they're inviting people, you need to get upfront with them about this, right? And I say, if you were going to have a live party in your house, would you open the door, let everybody in, and then go take a bubble bath?
Yeah, that's right.
Do that.
That's it. That's a good analogy.
Bubble bath. You have to be commenting with your friends. You have to be chatting with them, and you don't have to be on 24/7, but you need to take 5 to 10 minutes a day and scroll through and comment to people or tag people. If you know that they would love the brownie pan, tag them in it. So you want to make sure they get that. They need to interact with their friends right away in the party.
And the thing I did yesterday that I don't know if anyone's done this or not in a while, but I have a host. She wanted me to come over with all of my stuff, which was a big task to put it all in my car, take it out, put it in her house. But I did it. I was exhausted by the end of the night. And but we had such an awesome hour live at her home with a couple of guests, and their expressions and the way they asked me questions, and they come and they'd hold the product and be like, oh my God, this is so nice. That meant a lot. I feel like that really did a lot for the people that were watching, because it wasn't just me saying, hey, this is amazing. It was actually someone else that was picking it up and saying, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, good. And you can always do a Zoom like that too, if you don't want to leave your house and take things out, because probably some of your hosts or guests do have products and they can share with with the customers, even on a Zoom. So that's great though that you went over there. It's
Yeah.
fun to be back out there, right?
Yeah, I had never done that before, and I
Good.
was really scared and nervous, but I really like saw the difference, and I
Yeah.
saw how people were more interested, and the party was kind of dead. And then after that, now everybody's commenting and everybody's playing the games and everything,
Right.
because before it was kind of like dead.
Well, and you know what? Another thing that you can post is what's your favorite product, because that gets the guests all talking about their favorite product. So awesome. Thanks for sharing, Melissa. All
Laura,
right, the third section here. I'm sorry.
Laura, if I can just say one thing on the host coaching, because I just actually worked with another consultant today on that, of them having a hard time doing their host coaching and keeping up with their document. If any calendar that y'all use on your phone, if you're using the same, if you're starting all your parties on the same day, if you can set a, like on your Monday and have a reoccurring event every Monday, and on Tuesday, a reoccurring event every day. On your Mondays, whatever host coaching you set on Mondays, create that Monday, and in the notes field, put what your host coaching, what you send to your host on that day in the notes of your Monday. So that way it's on your calendar and you can go to that day and just copy and paste it from your calendar. So if it's on your phone, you have it with you, you've left your house, you don't have to actually open a document, you've got it already, and it's much more, it's easier for you to find it. And just
Thank you. That sounds a lot easier. A lot easier. Thank you for that advice.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Denise.
May I?
All right,
Hello?
the third, let's jump on here. We want to be aware of our time here. Our third section that she talked about was recruiting. So it's not about just copying and pasting. It's about building relationships. So she gave you girls a little bit of slack there. She said to build 15 conversations a month. She told us 20 a couple weeks ago, but she said that her goal is always to recruit 2, 3, or 4 people every month. The numbers that she shared are proof that this really does work. So one thing you want to make sure is you don't judge. It isn't for you to decide if it's for them or not. We still need to offer it, right? I had a host tell me this week, absolutely not. And I just laughed and said, you know, it's my job to ask you. You know, you've got some really great friends that are really loving Pampered Chef. So it's my job to ask you. I'm not offended by it. Kind of laughed it off. So anybody catch anything from the recruiting portion that you want to implement in your business this week? You want to share? Somebody else?
I think it's just so important that we make it personable, that it's not just a sending them a text, hey, this is the special. And that's something I really talk to my new consultants about. And also, you know, never ask them, hey, do you want to get started? Are you ready to get started? In a message, because a lot of times you're going to get the yes, no. It's really more important to ask them, you know, would you like more information? Or I'd love to share more information with you about it. If they feel like you're going to be real pushy about making them make a decision, they're going to say no, because it's not something, unless they're coming to you like, hey, I want to sign up. You're going to get that push off of them really not probably wanting to do it. Just present it as wanting to give them information about it. And a lot of times you'll get at least your foot in the door.
Right. Yes, definitely. All right. So our last was working with very new consultants. So something I want to encourage all of you, if you're still learning and you have no team to work through Dash 15 minutes a day, Pampered Chef shared with us that consultants who have worked through more of the sessions earn about 30% more cash. So obviously that's where you want to start. You know, you can walk through the recruiting aspect, the host coaching, all the different aspects of the business. And if you're already a recruiter or a leader, then it's all about your new consultants. So those shout outs, those kudos on stats, and those reach outs. Okay, so anybody anxious to get back into that Dash? I know my team had a little contest to see who could get through the most dashes in the last 3 weeks. And it's been fun to see some of their trainings come through.
Yeah, I have a long way to go on Dash still, but every time I'm on there, I just find it so helpful and so useful. And it's been just such a good resource.
And you are such a student of the business, Val. I mean, I can see it in all you've done.
I'm trying.
You focus and you go. So Val has a full-time job, and there's different times that she's got different projects going on with her other business. But then all of a sudden she has a week of parties and she's like, oh, 4 parties. Oh, we got 4,000 in sales. Okay, we're good. Like just boom, just does it. So she's very task and focus oriented there. So thanks for sharing, Val. All right, so the only other thing that I pulled out, sometimes I feel like we all try to get it all done and we think we're so busy and we didn't accomplish anything. So in Dash training, you can pull up under resources, it's called a time blocking sheet. And if you've never done this before, I want to challenge all of you to do this, because sometimes we feel like we're working Pampered Chef 24/7. And honestly, sometimes we're just playing office, okay? So what I want you to do is pull out this time blocking sheet, print it off for the week, and it goes from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And if you need to adjust it because you're up earlier or up later doing whatever you're doing, that's fine. But what I want you to do is write down what you're doing every hour, okay? Block Pampered Chef time, block that hour out, block that 15 minutes out. Put in, you know, if you're going to the gym, put in if the kids have school and you know you need to help them a certain time, put in your full-time job. But really be honest with yourself and track where you're working your Pampered Chef business. Because sometimes I find that you think you're working at, you know, from 9 to 5, but you've done laundry and the house is clean and you help the kids with homework and, you know, dinner's ready and a million other things come up. You talk to your girlfriend for an hour on the phone because you haven't talked to her for 3 months, okay? Focus on what you're doing and make sure you schedule Pampered Chef time into your calendar. Because sometimes that's what gets pushed on the back burner if you don't have a consistent business. And you don't mean to do it, but sometimes it just happens, right? So if you want Pampered Chef to happen, you have to focus on that time. And I know we've all got different things going on. You know, Christy homeschools with, you've got 3 boys. Danielle has 4. I'm like, hers are older, Christy's are younger, right? Denise and I are empty nesters now. We've got kids at home, kids remote, kids hybrid schedules, right? Full-time jobs. Maybe you're taking care of your mom or your sister, helping other people. So it's your turn to decide what do you want from your Pampered Chef business. And it can be anything you want it to be. I started when my kids were 18 months old and not born yet. They are now 26 and almost 24. I've been through the moving and the babies and the school and the scouts and the travel sports, and thankfully not COVID with them in school. I'm seeing the teacher end of it with my one son. That's not fun either. Okay, but decide what you want from your business and track your time. Because I think that that's one of the hardest things to do is figure out when to work. Okay, so hopefully we're almost at 8 o'clock. If we have a couple more questions, if anybody's, let me check the chat again.